This is a video of my documentary I said I was going to put together on an incident that happened to me May 5th, 2017, involving the Ozark Police Department. As many of you know, I have a nephew and he has a medical condition. However, the bone in his leg, we was already told when he was born that it was gonna break. And so the night before, which would have been May 4th of 2017, I was babysitting him, and maybe around 12 o'clock that night he began to scream in pain. And as he screamed, I contacted his mother, and however she did get off work, took him to the emergency room. And so prior to her at the emergency room, the doctors told her that the bone in his leg had been broken. And so she tried to explain to the doctors and stuff, that he'd go to specialists in Birmingham, and they already had told us when he was born, what was gonna happen. And so Ozark being Ozark, they got the police involved, they got DHR involved, and next thing I know, my sister was calling me. She was like, the police's and DHR investigators, all of that is headed to your house. And I'm like, why, for what, this and that, not really knowing what was going on. And so the police came to my house. They came in, they was like, we need to take pictures, this and that and the other, because it's a child at the hospital, and the hospital telling us that the bone in his leg had been broken. So they began to take pictures of my bedroom. They began to take pictures of other areas of the house. And so after they got done with the picture, they was like, we need you to come down to the police department. And so, they took me down to the police department, asking questions, this and that and the third. And so I'm like, the doctors already had told us the deal and what was going to be going on with, my nephew as he got older with his condition. And so as I was in the investigator room, they took my phone. They tried to pin this incident, on me by saying that, I basically broke my nephew's leg. But then all in the end, they find out that, he was a special needs child, and that his bone in his leg was automatically going to break. And so they began to tell me, they was like, we can just write this incident up, as an accident, this and that and the third. And so prior to that same night, May 5th, I had a program that was going on at my church that I used to attend. And so while I was still down at the police station, it was a man, he was a police as well, and when I was getting ready to go, he was like, can I talk to you? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And so he took me around to his office, and he was like, Ms. Borders, you don't seem to be, this type of person. Like, the police claim you are abusing kids, this and that. And I'm like, no, I'm not that type of person. I love kids, and why would I want to harm, kids? Kids don't ask to be here. And, ain't no sense, in trying to harm them, this and that and the others, is what I was telling the other police officer. So he was like, you're right. And then, so he looked at me, he was like, do you go to church? And I was like, yeah, I go to church. And then he was like, and then I told him, I was like, matter of fact, it's a program, that they having at my church tonight. And he was like, well, I think you should go, And I was like, no, I'm not gonna go. And he was like, well, why not? And I said, because this incident that's done happened, I'm like, y'all trying to literally, take my nephew from me, over something that the police trying to pin on me, and something that I didn't do. And so he was like, I still think that you should go to church. So I was like, okay. So that night, the church that I attend now, which is Jesus Christ Church of God, the Bible Way, they was on program to come to my then church that I was attending. And so that night I came to the program that they was having, really didn't want to be there prior to the incident that happened earlier that day. And so as I was sitting there, the bishop of the church, he was like, I was special. And he was like, God sees something in me and or whatever. So I'm just sitting there and I'm like, okay, this and that, still upset from what happened to me prior to that day. And so when it was all said and done, I began to ask my DN pastor. I was like, well, can you pray for me? Because I was faced with something today. He was like, well, we'll get the speaker of the hour, to pray with you. And so he began to do that. And after that, I was like, it just seemed like I should be a part of this church or where the guest speaker was at. And so long story short, out a while, May 5th of 2017, that was God then putting me together with the church that I attend now. And everybody that was there, they was a part of this May 5th incident. But little did I know, May 16th, which was a Sunday of 2021, God led me to Bible Way. And I say this to say, God works in mysterious ways. It took an incident with a child, police officers, and a false incident, for God to lead me to where I am. And this is part of my testimony, that God worked in mysterious way, because it could have been the other way around. They could have really accused me. They could have really pressed charges against me, with false accusations. But the only thing that they could think of when they did clear the situation up, that, they'll just have to rule it as an accident. And then I didn't think, to really sue these people, this and that and the other. But I'm just telling y'all, this is just like a short documentary of some things that I have done faced in my past. And I do thank God, for, the incident that happened, because if it wouldn't have happened that way, only God knows, where I would have been. So I hope y'all enjoyed this short documentary that I put together, and you all have a blessed and amazing day. And I hope to be able to upload more videos soon. Bye for now.